Welcome back, everyone. Ready for another deep dive?
Always.
Today, we're focusing on innovation, but not just, any old innovation. We're going deep with someone who lives and breathes this stuff. Dr. Faisal Awadhi.
He's got this incredible background, over 25 years in the field, real estate, digital assets, you name it.
And the academic credentials to back it up.
PhD in leading innovation and entrepreneurship. And an MBA, too. Guess what it focused on?
Innovation.
You got it.
But what I find really fascinating is this concept of seeing beyond that Dr. Awadhi emphasizes. We'll be looking at his academic papers, his analysis of Stanley Black & Decker, which has been around for forever, and even a story about a company culture turnaround he led. It's all connected by this seeing beyond idea.
It's about challenging norms, pushing those boundaries. Dr. Awadhi believes innovation can't just happen randomly. It needs to be cultivated.
So how do we actually do that?
Well, he's got this concept called ICCI, stands for Ideologizing Innovation, Change, and Creativity.
Ideologizing, that sounds a bit, I don't know, intense.
It's about making innovation central. Imagine a world where it's as core to a nation's identity as, say, some countries are all about environmentalism.
Ah, okay, I see. So it's not just about saying innovation is good. It's more about baking it into how we make decisions, how we operate.
Exactly, weaving it into the very fabric of society. That's how we unlock the potential, according to Dr. Awadhi.
But wouldn't some people say, hey, if you make it an ideology, won't that stifle actual creativity, like forcing people into a box?
That's a valid point, and Dr. Awadhi addresses that. He's clear that ICCI is about embracing diverse perspectives, encouraging experimentation. It's about giving people the resources and the support they need to think differently, to take those risks.
Okay, so it's not about uniformity. It's more about creating a space where people feel empowered to, as you said, think outside the box.
Right, and he actually dives deeper into this in his books.
He's got Seeing Beyond Entrepreneurship and Seeing Beyond Innovation and Change.
Exactly. He applies this approach to different sectors, gives those real-world examples of ICCI in action.
So it sounds like Dr. Awadhi is advocating for a pretty big shift from just accepting innovation happens to making it like a core value.
It is. And to see how that works in practice, we're going to look at his analysis of a company that's been successful for over 175 years, Stanley Black & Decker.
They must be doing something, right?
They are. And a big part of it is this seeing beyond in action. One of their defining moments was hiring a 19-year-old named William Hart.
A 19-year-old? Seriously, what could someone that young bring to the table?
That's the thing. Most companies wouldn't even consider it, but Stanley saw potential. And that decision, well, it had some pretty amazing consequences.
All right, now I'm definitely intrigued. Let's dive into what Dr. Awadhi uncovered about Stanley Black & Decker's 175 years of success.
So Hart, this 19-year-old, right, he brings his fresh energy to Stanley's company. And he's behind some major innovations, like he developed this process for cold rolling steel, revolutionized manufacturing back then.
Wow, impressive.
But there's more. Get this. He also invented something we use all the time today.
What, like a new type of steel tool?
Nope. The cardboard box.
Wait, seriously, that ubiquitous brown box?
The one and only.
That's wild. I never would have guessed.
And it wasn't just gadgets. Hart was instrumental in building this whole ecosystem for innovation. He helped establish Hardware City in Connecticut, became a real hub for manufacturing and technology.
So one person's vision can have a huge impact. That's incredible. But how did Stanley Black & Decker stay relevant for so long? The world's changed a lot since the 1800s.
That's where their long-term thinking comes in. Dr. Awadhi points out how they adapted to change. Economic downturns, technology shifts, they weathered it all.
They didn't just assume past success guaranteed future success.
Right. They were proactive about evolving, and their approach to acquisitions was really strategic.
Oh, yeah, acquisitions can be tricky.
For sure. They didn't just buy up any company. They were very careful.
Yeah.
Chose businesses that aligned with their vision, ones that could bring new skills and knowledge to the table.
Makes sense. So did Dr. Awadhi give any specific examples?
He did. The acquisition of Lennox Tools is a great one.
Okay, Lennox, what was their story?
Lennox was known for high-quality stuff, strong brand. But they were having trouble keeping up with the market.
So Stanley Black & Decker saw an opportunity.
Exactly. They knew they could use their strengths to help Lennox thrive. But here's the key. They didn't just absorb Lennox, impose their way of doing things.
They took a different approach.
Much more collaborative. They respected Lennox's culture, their expertise, focused on integrating the best of both companies.
Creating synergy.
You got it. So it's not just about tech or products. It's about people and culture. They're huge for driving innovation.
That's a great point. And speaking of culture, there's that story about Dr. Awadhi going undercover as a mystery shopper.
Oh, yeah, that's a good one.
Yeah.
He was brought in to turn around a struggling company, wanted to see the situation firsthand.
Smart move.
What he found was, well, employees had this hit-and-run mentality.
Hit and run, like in a business sense.
Think of a place where people are more focused on their own gain than on working together for the company's success.
Oh, I've seen that before. Not pretty.
It creates a toxic environment. Trust and collaboration go out the window. Innovation takes a hit. Dr. Awadhi talks about foxes and sheep in this context.
That sounds intriguing. Who are the foxes?
The foxes, they're the manipulators, exploiting others for their benefit. The sheep are more passive, more likely to get taken advantage of.
So he finds himself in this company full of foxes. What did he do?
He had to do something drastic. He organized a company-wide event. Everyone thought it was going to be a mass layoff.
Oh, wow. That's intense.
But here's the twist. Instead of firing people, it turned into a surprise award ceremony.
He tricked everyone?
It was a gamble. He wanted to change the culture dramatically. And it worked. Instead of firing people, he celebrated the unsung heroes, the sheep, the ones who were dedicated to the company's mission, who embodied the values he wanted to promote.
What a turn of events.
Right. It was a mix of shock, relief, inspiration. By focusing on the sheep, Dr. Awadhi sent a clear message. This is a new era. Collaboration, dedication, those are what matter.
He shifted the power dynamic.
Exactly. The foxes were put on notice. Their tactics weren't going to fly anymore.
So did this actually lead to any real change?
It did. It wasn't instant, but this event was a catalyst. The company turned around financially, the culture became more positive, and they even started this amazing initiative.
What was it?
The Green Entrepreneur Village, first of its kind in the Middle East, designed to support eco-conscious startups.
That's really cool.
It really embodies this idea of seeing beyond, being proactive about solving global challenges through innovation and entrepreneurship.
It shows how a shift in culture can have a ripple effect.
Absolutely.
It really makes you think. One action, and so much change comes from it. It's like we all have the power to make a difference, even when things seem, impossible.
Exactly. And that's what's so great about Dr. Awadhi's work. It's not just theory. It's practical. Stuff we can actually use.
Okay, so let's tie it all together for our listener. We've talked about ICCI, Stanley Black & Decker's success, that amazing turnaround story. What are the big takeaways here?
Well, I think it all comes back to innovation, change, and leadership, how they're all connected. Dr. Awadhi shows us how creating a culture that values ICCI, whether it's at work, in your community, even personally, that's how you unlock potential.
It's about making people feel like they can speak up, try new things, take risks.
Remember Stanley Black & Decker bringing in that 19-year-old, or Dr. Awadhi with the awards ceremony instead of layoffs? Those are powerful examples of leadership shaping a culture where ICCI can thrive.
It shows that leadership isn't just about being in charge, it's about inspiring others, helping them achieve more.
And that's true for all of us, not just CEOs or managers. We can all be leaders in our own ways.
So true. So how can our listeners take all of this and actually use it?
Start by looking around. Are there foxes in your world, holding people back, stopping creativity? What can you do to build a more positive culture, even if it's just small things?
Like, if you see someone being treated unfairly, say something. Or encourage a coworker who's got a cool idea but is scared to share it.
Exactly. And remember those sheep. The ones who are truly dedicated, give them credit.
And don't forget seeing beyond. Don't let your situation limit you. Question things, look for new perspectives, step out of that comfort zone.
Maybe there's a problem you've always wanted to tackle but thought, nah, it's too big, too hard. Dr. Awadhi believes innovation is the key to solving those tough problems. The world's problems, our personal problems, all of them.
So think about it. What's a problem you could take on with some creativity, some strategic thinking? How would you see beyond in that situation?
Remember, even something small, like that cardboard box, can make a big difference. You've got more ingenuity than you think.
And that brings us to the end of our deep dive into the world of Dr. Faisal Awadhi. We hope you've learned a lot, but also that you're feeling inspired to see beyond those limitations and embrace the power of innovation.
We always say it, keep the conversation going, Share your thoughts with us online. Tell us about your seeing beyond moments, those innovative solutions you're coming up with.
You never know. Your idea might be the next one to change the world. Until next time, keep diving deep, keep exploring, and don't forget to have some fun along the way. That's what makes it all worthwhile.